The eighth narcissistic technique is gaslighting. Gaslighting is a really popular term now, and I think it may be misapplied in some cases. It's not necessarily clear what gaslighting is to everybody. So this might be a little bit of a longer video, but as usual, I'm not going to have all that many cuts in my video. I'm just going to speak spontaneously about that because I think this is the best way to go forward and to just not have things so structured and planned, but to talk from the heart. So, gaslighting. It comes from a play, I think from the late 1800s, in which a man marries a woman and is gone for long periods of time while he's upstairs in an abandoned apartment from a woman who passed away. The rumor is that she has jewels hidden up there, and that the person who finds them obviously could become very rich. So this man goes up into the apartment and he's walking around, and he needs to have light to see. It was only gas lights back then, so he'd turn on the gas lights, and by turning on the gas lights in the apartment below where his wife was, probably wondering where he was, they would dim there. And so she'd go back to him and say, "Hey, what was with the gas lights? We need to check into that because the lights keep dimming over and over." And of course, he doesn't want her to know that he's up there looking for jewels. So instead of, coming clean or being honest about it or saying, "Yeah, you noticed that too," he came up with a plan. He was going to make her think that she was going crazy. And that would help him to continue his pursuit of these jewels without, having her check up on him, because she thinks she was losing her mind. And that is the essence of what happens with gaslighting. Narcissists want you to lose your mind, because if you do lose your mind, what that means for them is that you no longer trust your ability to interpret reality. And they want to create a codependent relationship where the victim is dependent on the narcissist to understand and, incorporate reality into their knowledge, into their decision making. If the narcissist can get the victim to believe that they can't interpret reality without first going through the narcissist, that puts the narcissist in control of the victim. And that is exactly where they want to be. They want to be in control of their victims. They want their victims to do what they want, to say what they want, to give that narcissistic supply at all times. And the very act of conceding your ability to interpret reality to the narcissist is a way for the narcissist to feel superior to the victim. So, in and of itself, successful gaslighting supports control and offers supply to the narcissist. That is a really insidious thing to do to somebody else. Those of us who love other people don't want our loved ones to be dependent on us for interpreting reality. That would be the last thing that we'd want. Because when love happens, love is generated from the unique qualities that individual carries in their life. You don't want to manipulate them if you truly love them into doing what you want or saying what you want, and just supporting your needs. You want them to support their own needs. You want them to pursue their own goals, because that is going to make them happy. And as I said in the previous video, happiness is something that can be carried on to the loved one. If a loved one is happy, the person who loves them is also happy. And feelings that are more negatively valenced are also going to carry over, and the loved ones will want to make sure that each of the problems and issues that are causing those negatively valenced emotions are resolved. Gaslighting can be done in a lot of different ways. It can be done emotionally. So a narcissist will often tell their victims, "You're feeling this way, I can tell, I know you so well, this is what you're doing, you're feeling upset because you are truly a bad person." I know this is very generalized, but gaslighting is a way to get people, or to get victims, to have lowered self-esteem. So an emotional gaslighting is trying to convince a victim that their emotions are a certain way and that they're feeling certain ways. And that's, it doesn't have to be attached to any reality whatsoever. It's just what the narcissist is aiming to create. So that's one way. Another way is to mess with somebody's memories. So a narcissist is often going to say, "What? That never happened," when accused of something that they did that was wrong. And the victim might go, "Oh, was I wrong about that? Am I losing my mind? I guess I would be, because why would my spouse or my brother or whoever lie to me about that? So maybe that didn't actually happen." And once they start accepting that, the narcissist is like, "Yeah, I know, you've had it in for me for a long time, and this is what you do. You make up stuff." And then I'm like, "What are you even talking about?" So they'll just keep supporting that. If you have a solid memory, don't doubt it just because somebody else tells you that you should. Those memories are, memories can be manipulated, they can be changed. But that's exactly what gaslighting is trying to do. It's trying to get you to misremember what actually happened. But if you spontaneously come up with your own memory, it's likely to be true. As long as you weren't led to believe that, you can remain firm in that. And another way gaslighting happens is around the self. So for a narcissist, they want to control that sense of self, to lower your self-esteem so that you become more dependent on them. So they're going to tell you that they know who you are, and these are your problems. You need to fix all of these things in order to be a better person. This is a very common thing for narcissists to do. They start labeling you, name-calling, whatever they can to try to create your own self-perception. So that's another way that can happen. Gaslighting can happen. And they often use what I would call twisted logic to get somebody to believe something is true. So they might tell you that your logical connections that you were making to, draw a conclusion that maybe your partner cheated on you, or that they were talking behind your back, they'll go out of their way to say, "Oh, no, that can't be because," and then they'll start giving you logical fallacies in place of logical connections, real logical connections. Gaslighting, there's a lot on this out there. If you have questions, of course, please put that in the chat. But gaslighting is, such a popular term because it's such a common technique for narcissists to use, and it's so insidious, it's so wrong to do that to somebody that it's just shocking. And that's part of what makes gaslighting so effective. You wouldn't think that somebody who was in your life, who had a relationship, would do that to you. So you often don't believe it, and that's one of the best ways for a narcissist to get you. So look up more on this. Gaslighting is extremely important, and like I said, post in the chat if you have questions. Love to start more discussions there, and hope this helps. Until next time.